Hey friends, it's Michelle with Garden Jargon. Guess where I'm at? In the grow room yet again. This is one of my favorite times of the season here in Chicago, Grow Zone 5B on February 28th. One of my favorite places to be every day is down here in this room that looks like I'm in outer space with all these foil walls. I actually had a couple questions about that come in. People were asking what the foil walls were for, if it was for like mold or water prevention or whatever, but it's basically for reflective. Last year, actually, I put the reflective paper sheets on these grow shelves and they ripped because I kind of pushed the grow trays off of the shelves a little bit just to fit a couple more shelves or seed trays on these shelves. So this year I just put them on the walls. They're still going to reflect. So the light that comes down from here will reflect off the walls and come back and hit the plants. So the plants don't lean as much. And then I'll also hang a sheet on the outside here like a curtain. That's what I'm going to do this year. So I just said, forget taping it on the shelves. I'm just going to tape it to the wall. So that's what I did. And I got those from Amazon. You can buy a 6-pack of the 6x4 sheets of foil sheets, they're called. And I think it was like $6 or $7. It wasn't, I think it was under $10 for 6 pieces. So I'm going to go ahead and buy some more because I had a couple rip when I was taking them off the shelves this year. But I just tape them with masking tape to the wall or painter's tape. And then I'll tape them with masking tape to this too to kind of make a curtain. And then it's actually a little bit more easier to be in here because it's not so harsh on my eyes when you have those curtains up when you are sitting in this room doing some seeding or potting up or something like that. So today what I'm doing, new experiment for me, join along for the ride. I overwintered peppers this year. You can see them down there and right here. I had them, there's another room behind this wall that's like a long galley storage room, and I had them in there since October 30th, 31st. Last year, I do have a video on my YouTube channel how I overwintered them, how I took them out of the ground, shook the roots clean, put them in new potting soil, put them in pots, put cinnamon on them, topped them with sand, and brought them inside. And then I watered them like every 10 days just to not kill them. Well, I have to say, I think I killed 2 or 3 buckets because they dried out. And some of these are super green and some of these are kind of on the way to brown. So I'm going to try to revive them and wake them up right now. It's February 28th today. Our last expected frost date's right around the middle of May this year. And I'm going to go ahead and try to wake them up with some worm castings. And I'm going to water them with some like castings tea. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give them some organic matter in the potting soil that they're already in, and let's see if we can wake them up and get some new growth on these before we put them outside. I'll probably put them outside the beginning of June when it warms up, and then put them in bigger buckets, or I'll put them in the ground, depending on where I have some space. So let me show you the peppers that I have, because I just made some new plant markers for them. So in here we have giant jalapenos, chocolate beauty, giant jalapeno, habanero, shishitos, sweet banana, hot banana, big Bertha. That was a really great pepper. There's 2 plants in that bucket actually. More shishitos, more giant jalapenos. I like the giant jalapenos because when I make salsa, I don't want to cut up 25 peppers. I want to just chop up 2 or 3. So that's why I like to grow those. Red bell pepper, that plant looks fantastic, that one. This is a pimento. I tried to break the stem and it's still moist in there. Not moist, but still living. It didn't snap off, so I'm hoping we can revive that. I don't know. I'm not a pepper fanatic, so I don't know. More giant jalapenos, serrano. That's a chili pepper. That's a mystery pepper. These plants are super tall. I don't remember what peppers were on that one. giant jalapeno. What's that? Oh, red bell pepper, hot banana pepper, giant jalapeno pepper, another mystery pepper back there, hot banana pepper here, giant jalapeno here. And then those are 3 like flowering plants that I've overwintered for 2 seasons. Last season I just left them upstairs and kept them watered in a window and they survived, and I think I pretty much killed them this year. That's that bucket, and that bucket. So what I'm going to do is set up the hyperlapse. I'm going to put a scoop. This is my box of finished castings from my worm farm. All of that is fresh, brand new worm castings. So I'm going to put a scoop of that on top of all of these buckets. First of all, I'm going to water them a little bit so that the soil in these buckets gets a little bit wet. And then I have the worm castings in there. I'm going to stir that up and put a big cup of the worm castings on top of the worm casting tea on top of the worm casting handful that I put in all these buckets. So sit tight. Quickly, I threw a little bit of water on all of these peppers just because I believe in a wet sponge soaks up water way better than a dry sponge. So you'll also see me stirring in this 5-gallon bucket the castings tea because I want to make sure that it's well incorporated before I pour it on top of my plants. All right, so the reason I water the plants a little bit before I put like a water-soluble fertilizer or like a worm casting tea on top is because it's kind of like the theory of a wet sponge soaks up water way better than a dry sponge. So I like to get all the soil in the pots a little bit wet so that when I put the liquid fertilizer in there, it'll actually soak up and stay in there instead of running down the sides of the bucket and running right out of the pot. So I actually put one of these trays down. This is like one of those plastic trays that you put at the bottom of a dog crate for an extra large dog crate. I found that, I think, in somebody's dumpster, in somebody's garbage. They were throwing out the dog crate. It was all mangled up, and I took it. And I took the tray because it is a drip tray for me. As you can see, some of those pots are leaking out, and now it's leaking into the tray and not onto my floor. And then I also have a bin, like an under-the-bed bin right here. And then I actually plastic lined that with 6mm plastic that I use for the floor in here and just put that in there. That way everything can leak in that bucket as well into that tray. And then I had a box and I did the same thing. I just lined it with plastic so nothing's leaking down on the floor. So I put a handful of castings in all of these buckets. And then I topped it with the compost tea. And now they're under light daily. I didn't know how to wake up my peppers that I overwintered last year. So I basically had them in the basement and then I put them outside and then the sun brought them back to life and I watered them and the rain hit them and they grew. I just neglected them and killed them. I just left them in the buckets way too long and they didn't produce very well at all, but it's my fault. So overwintering them, I did what I was supposed to do. Waking them up, I probably could have done it a little sooner. That's why I'm doing that this way this year, is waking them up now. I actually got some feedback on a couple of platforms that said that you could actually keep light on them a little bit throughout the winter. Because when I brought these in and trimmed them down and put them in the basement, like 2 weeks later I came down, they all had like new growth on them. And I was like, oh my gosh, what do I do? Do I put a light on it or do I just leave it? Because I didn't want them to grow tall because I didn't have the space for them to grow tall. So I'm trying to wake them up now so that I have earlier peppers sooner. I also have a poly greenhouse outside in my garden, so I can actually, you know how peppers love heat? Well, they'll get heat. If I'm having 60 or 70 degree days, I'll be able to put these in that poly greenhouse in these buckets and let them be in the warmer environment throughout the spring. So I definitely have space for that. So I think I'm going to do okay with these peppers this year. Not that I'm not starting plenty of trays of new peppers, because I'm a junkie for peppers. I'm not sure if you are. So thank you very much for following along. My channel is called Garden Jargon. If you've never seen my channel before, please check out some of my videos. I made a commitment to you guys this season to do a lot more how-to videos, because a lot of my videos last year were garden tours and not how-to videos. And so I've gotten some requests on how to do more trellising videos or intercropping and interplanting and succession planting. So I'm going to do my best to try to get my camera in my hand every day to share with you some knowledge. So here we go on the journey of waking up the pepper plants. Thanks again so much for watching. Please subscribe to my channel and like my video. Share it with somebody if you think they would get something out of it. I hope you learned something new today, and I will watch you or see you in the next video. Thanks so much. Bye.